Going back to the never-ending story of the Haitians. Down in Haiti, man. Well, no, not down in Haiti. Down in Springfield, Ohio, a Haitian nonprofit has filed a complaint for criminal charges against former President Trump and his vice presidential candidate, Senator J.D. Vance, from the great state of Ohio. Fellow Ohio man like myself. So they had, through a Haitian nonprofit organization called the Haitian Bridges Alliance, which I don't know how many bridges exist in Haiti after all the earthquakes, but they filed the charges in Clark County Municipal Court on Tuesday. The organization is based in San Diego and advocates for migrants and immigrants, especially those in the Black and Haitian communities. Well, if they're the Haitian Bridge Alliance, why aren't they like in South Florida or on the East Coast? Because that's like, I mean, you're like getting closer to Haiti. That would make kind of sense to me. But hey, who knows? There are some things we can check, chat. So, for example, the Clark County Municipal Court, and that is where Springfield is located. You can type in things through criminal, and we're going to try here. So, name defined, Trump. We're going to click search. There are no matches yet. So, charges have not been filed, and a case has not been opened. So, we know that right now. What does this actually mean for us? Okay, so they did file a complaint. We're going to take a look at this. So nobody's been charged yet, but you can file complaints in Ohio as an individual citizen under state law. So, for example, and this is the way I'll explain it. If you did something, you keyed up my car, and the police decided not to investigate or file charges, I can go down to the clerk of courts for wherever I live. I can swear out a complaint and charge you with criminal damaging and damaging my property. At that point, then, it gets reviewed by a judge or by the prosecutor for that area, and they take a look at it and say, okay, yeah, there are charges. Okay, there aren't charges. But they can pursue charges that way. So none of it's set in stone. It's just being referred. And I'll explain to you why this is probably not going to go anywhere. But we're going to get to the actual complaint itself that got submitted. So this is the form. It's a kind of generic filing form they use down at the Clark County Municipal Court. It says this is a bench memorandum in support of the attached revised code section 293509 A and D criminal charges of Guerlain Yosef and on behalf of the Haitian Bridge Alliance against Donald J. Trump and James David Vance. And if you see that, it says revised code section 2935.09. Well, what does that say? Well, and this is where, under Ohio law, under the Ohio Revised Code, the persons who have knowledge of filing of offense that can file an affidavit. And there's an official review before a complaint is filed. And we get to Part D here. A private citizen having knowledge of facts who seeks to cause an arrest or prosecution under this section may file an affidavit charging an offense committed with a reviewing official for the purpose of review to determine if a complaint should be filed by the prosecuting attorney or the attorney charged with by law the prosecution offenses in that court before a magistrate. And you may file the affidavit with the clerk of court of record before or after the normal business hours of the reviewing officials. And they just talk about how it works and how they go forward. So under Ohio law, other people who can do it, a police officer can seek out prosecution and file with the reviewing official, but they're allowed to do it. But this is one of the reasons why you're allowed to. So just so you know, that's the enabling statute here in that regard. So Guerlain Yosef, on behalf of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, respectfully offers this bench memorandum in support of the attached affidavit, which is properly submitted under the plain language of the statute to a judge for review and not the prosecutor's office. And they could send this to the judge to review, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And they're seeking to charge Trump and J.D. Vance with the following offenses: disrupting public services, making false alarms, complicity. And complicity means that if one of them said it, the other one's guilty because they're helping them. They're both working together. Telecommunications harassment, aggravated menacing. Aggravated menacing, chat, is what we would call in many states assault. It's making threats. In Ohio, making threats is called menacing, and actually the actual crime of physically causing harm to somebody in Ohio is called assault. So that's why you might hear them that way, and that's why they're labeled that way. They also are charging them with, and SEO is the Springfield City Ordinances, Section 537.08, which is telecommunications harassment. It's Springfield Code Ordinance, Springfield City Ordinance complicity. The Alliance of Miss Joseph respectfully requests this court make independent findings of cause and issue warrants for Trump and Vance's arrest. Now, this is a municipal court, so even if this were to happen, and it's not, even if it were to happen, this is only valid for a statewide warrant. So they talk about, yes, private citizens are authorized to file charges, and they either issue warrants or refer the matter to the prosecuting attorney for investigation. So they have private citizens who can do it, and they're pointing out there's only two options. Issue an arrest warrant or refer the matter to the prosecuting attorney. Now, here's the problem with this. They're not in that district. So this appellate district is not the holding district. Clark County is in the second appellate district. So if they had something there, they would. This is persuasive, but not binding authority. They point out investigation is neither needed nor requested. That's always a warning flag. No, you don't need to look into this any further, man. We've got all the facts. Do you really? Do you really? Despite the facts being presented in the affidavit being open and notorious for the world to see, the prosecuting attorney has not yet acted to protect the community and hold Trump and Vance accountable for the harm they have instigated. Probably because it's not a crime. And punishing politicians on the campaign trail sounds really freaking bad. I get it if you're from Haiti where you don't really have laws and you can kind of do whatever you want. But here in America, that's not something we condone. So they're requesting this court find probable cause and arrest Trump and Vance. The probable cause having already been determined by this court, the prosecuting attorney then must make a public decision about whether that office stands for the rule of law or whether it will further coddle Trump and Vance with complete inaction. The probable cause is low threshold, and the affidavit charging Trump and Vance meet it. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So these affidavits are governed under Criminal Rule 4, and then there's other things out there, which an independent determination of probable cause by a judge, magistrate, clerk, court, or officer of this court designated by a judge. Yes. Once again, they're not citing something out of the second district, which you really should do. You should always cite. You should always be looking, guys. This is something when you're doing things. You should always cite from like the appellate district you're in, the federal circuit you're in, as many places you can that hold things over you. Do it, because then you could say, "Look, it's binding, judge. You have to follow it." So, for example, this Fifth Circuit case done in 2003. I'm sure the second appellate district has cited this case somewhere. You could have used that case instead. So the effect is, while the court can issue an arrest warrant based on the affidavit, it cannot reject the complaint without affording the complainant a hearing for the court to independently determine probable cause, even when the prosecutor disagrees. Criminal Rule 4 contains a lesser hearsay standard, which allows for finding a probable cause based on hearsay evidence in whole or in part. As we talked about with Nick Rekida's situation, yes, complaints and affidavits for search warrants can contain hearsay. They can contain evidence that later on becomes inadmissible. So hearsay, you probably won't be able to bring it in, but they can use it there. They say the evidence included recorded, video recorded admissions or written statements, threats, or actions by Trump and Vance themselves, along with governance statements by Governor Mike DeWine, Springfield Mayor Robert Rue, and others about the falsehood of Trump's and Vance's statements. To a limited extent, there is any hearsay. It is from reliable or reputable sources. The facts are essentially indisputable. When you make these claims, that's usually a bullshit claim for, well, they are in dispute. Your Honor, there is no question. There is question. There is no doubt. There is doubt. The Bridge Alliance asks court to find probable cause the criminal charges are warranted for the statutes because of the harmful lies repeatedly spewed by Trump and J.D. Vance. Probable cause exists when the circumstances which are reasonably trustworthy and sufficient to warrant a prudent individual in believing another had committed or was committing an offense. It's not a high bar. Correct. Probable cause is lower threshold and by preponderance of the evidence. Remember, preponderance of the evidence is 51%. Probable cause is the belief, is a reasonable belief, which is less stringent than proving whether something is more likely true than not. And of course, probable cause is a far less standard than beyond a reasonable doubt, the standard required for convictions. Now they talk about all of this and how they keep going. Trump, and here's where we get to the scary parts. Trump and Vance have knowingly spread a false and dangerous narrative by claiming that Springfield's Haitian community is criminally killing and eating neighbors' dogs and cats, and killing and eating geese. They accuse Springfield's Haitians of bearing a deadly disease. They repeated such lies during the debate, at rallies and interviews on national television and social media. The direct impact on Springfield and Vance's underlying lies cannot be overstated. During the last 2 weeks, Springfield received 33 bomb threats. Did they do them? Did Trump and Vance do those? Who did them? Many public institutions have been forced to evacuate, and vital local resources were diverted to investigate the barrage of threats to the community. So they want to charge Trump and Vance because why? They disrupted public services by causing widespread bomb and other threats. How? They made false alarms by knowingly causing alarm in the Springfield community by continuing to repeat lies that state and local officials have said were false. They committed telecommunications harassment by spreading claims they know to be false during the debate. They committed aggravated menacing by knowingly making intimidating statements with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass the recipients. They committed aggravated menacing, and this is the correct part of aggravated menacing, by knowingly causing others to falsely believe that members of the Haitian community will cause serious physical harm to the person or property of others within the Springfield community. I don't think that works. They violated the complicity statute by conspiring with another to spread the lies. Like those who falsely shout fire in a crowded theater. That is not valid case law. That has not been valid case law for over 100 years. The holding from U.S. v. Schenck is no longer valid. Jesus Christ. This is written by attorneys and they fucking use this. Trump and Vance do not color within the lines of the First Amendment. They commit criminal acts. This is a fucking crime, right? It should be a crime to fucking use this quote. Now, they come up with the 2014 killing of Tamir Rice by the Cleveland Police Department. There was probable cause to support criminal charges in read affidavits relating to Timothy Lohman and Frank Garnback. A copy of the court's order is there, but they didn't say what happened with it. So they argued criminal charges should be done. They asked this court to treat Trump and Vance the same way anyone else would be treated for the crimes committed. These aren't crimes, though. This should be done before Trump fulfills his threat to visit Springfield, despite Mayor Rob Rowe's request he not do so that he may be arrested on arrival for his criminal acts. And here's the problem. These are fucking attorneys. And they're attorneys in Ohio. Ohio licensed attorneys. Anyways, this is the affidavit of one of the people. You know, Gerline Yosef. This is a person who's stating that in affidavit, I'm a private citizen of the age of 18. I have personal knowledge of and am competent to testify regarding the matters below. I am the director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, a national nonprofit community. We serve migrants and immigrants with humanitarian, legal, and social services with a focus on Black people, the Haitian community, women, girls, LGBT blah, 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 individuals, and survivors of torture and other human rights abuses. Basically everybody but white men. Like, how many other people can you focus on? Well, we focus on everybody. Well, we only focus on Haitians. Well, also other Black people. Well, also women. Any kind of women. Girls. LGBT individuals. And survivors of torture and other human rights abuses. Well, who don't you represent at that point? We focus on the issues unique to Black migrants and build solidarity and collective movement toward policy change. We collaborate with Black migrant communities throughout the U.S., progressive coalitions fighting anti-Blackness, and advocate locally, nationally, internationally for fair and just immigration policies. Okay. They launched a pilot project in 2024 that connected recent Haitian immigrants to labor union apprenticeship programs in Ohio. We provide language, social, and technical support to apprenticeship programs so they can successfully complete the programs. Our staff built and maintained strong relationships with the graduates and continue to support them as they replace in jobs. Several we supported relocated to live and work in Springfield and are legally employed there. Since Trump and Vance's false and malevolent comments against Haitians started, our staff maintained close contact with the Haitian workers and helped them navigate the resulting backlash. Well, what was the backlash? So the purpose of this affidavit. Okay, well, what's the purpose? This affidavit charges, this affidavit seeks to charge Trump and Vance under Revised Code Section 2935.09D. We seek their arrest and prosecution and ask that a reviewing official, particularly a judge, review to determine if a claim should be filed by the prosecuting attorney or attorney charged with the prosecution of offenses in the court. Now, they bring that prosecuting attorney or other attorney because at the municipal level, there is no city prosecutor that's an elected official. Generally, you are the law director for that city. You get hired by the city, or some cities, smaller towns, will farm that out to a law firm that handles governmental law as part of its practice area. And they have a guy who comes in and is generally, they're referred to as like city solicitors, and they handle like traffic and criminal cases in municipal courts. So over the last 2 weeks, Trump and Vance have led an effort to vilify and threaten the Haitian community. Together, they spread and amplified the debunked claim that Haitian immigrants to Springfield are eating dog, cats, and wildlife. We do not have to guess at the motivation behind these actions. Vance has publicly admitted that he and Trump have to create stories for media attention. It'd be nice if you cited something, because that doesn't mean anything right now. Okay, we don't have to guess. Citation needed. And here's the neat part. You claim to have it. Where is the citation? Where is the citation? My good boy, J.D. My good boy, James David. He done nothing wrong. He just a good boy who done nothing wrong. He a good boy. Where's the citation? 33 bomb threats across Springfield within the last 2 weeks. Okay, who did that? And then other government offices. Well, that's kind of based. Springfield government officials and their families received threats. Citations needed. Citations needed. Trump's advanced lies have harmed the community, and their lies have violated criminal law. All the Haitian immigrants and community members to whom we have spoken to have told us that before Trump advances comments, they found people in Springfield to be welcoming, nice, and helpful. But since the comments earlier this month, Haitians are receiving hostile comments and feel like they're constantly being watched by people at work and in the neighborhoods. Why aren't those people filing the affidavits? Why aren't those people filing the affidavits? Why aren't they filing the affidavits? Huh? Isn't it funny? Some guy from California is filing the affidavit. Now, I get it. Yes, you can use that. You can use hearsay, but at some point, who are these people? You're going to have to prove that. You're going to have to produce that evidence. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. One Haitian man said that on or around September 12th, while he was walking in downtown Springfield, a white man driving by in a car yelled at him, "Trump is coming for you." He was frightened and didn't know if the driver yelling at him was armed or would attack him. I'm sure the whole bus clapped right afterwards, too. How did that white guy know? Because believe it or not, there were already black people who lived in Springfield, Ohio. How did he know that black guy was Haitian? Yeah, this is MAGA country, they screamed. Several of the Haitian workers we support have complained that their colleagues at work repeatedly asked them whether they are cat eaters. I'm totally sure that happened. They feel uncomfortable and unsafe at work because with their language difficulties and not being fully fluent in English, they cannot judge how their colleagues feel. Really quick, though. Hold on here. With their language difficulties and not yet being fully fluent in English, then how do they know what they're being asked if they aren't fully fluent in English? If you don't know the language, how do you know what you're being asked? Especially if it's not work-related. How the hell do you know what they're asking if you don't know it? How do you know that? That's a great answer here. Well, they don't know the language really well. Then how the fuck do they know what they're being asked? Anyways, whatever. They cannot judge how their colleagues feel about them and whether they're at risk of being fired or physically harmed. I'm assuming if they aren't being harmed, then they probably aren't being harmed. Many of the people he's spoken to left Haiti because they suffered politically motivated violence and persecution, and they have reported feeling scared for their physical safety all the time because of Trump and Vance's comments. They're terrified if Trump and Vance win the elections, they'll harass even more and become victims of violence. Some have reported feeling so scared they do not feel like going to work because they don't know what could happen to them at work on their way to work. Others said they don't want to be out at night for fear of what could happen to them. They do not want to talk to people as they would have, like asking for directions on the street, because they don't know whom they can trust or who may want to harm them. We have learned the stress and unpredictability is so high, Haitians are quitting their jobs and leaving Ohio for good. Well, where the fuck are they going? Summary of their legal violations. Okay, well, we'll get to this here. So Trump and Vance are major public figures whose words have tremendous power. Okay. And they know that spreading these lies, they are also causing innocent parties across the media and state to perpetuate the false claims under complicity and under the Springfield codified ordinances of complicity. The allegations have led to massive disruptions of services in violation of revised code section 2909.04. And we'll look at that. So what does 2909.04 say? Yeah, here you go. No person purposely by any means shall do any of the following. By damaging, tampering, and property shall do any of the following, including any radars, LORAN radio, or other electronic aids for the police, fire, air, or marine navigation, or amateur radio bands being used for public service or community emergency communications. Okay, well, how has Trump done that? How have they done that? Have they interrupted or repaired public transportation, school bus transportation, water supply, gas, power, or other utilities of public service? Nope. Have they done any of this so far? No. It doesn't relate to physical damage or tampering. So, for example, like with one of these bad boys, if you have Baofeng, depending on if your Baofeng's unrestricted or restricted, you can communicate on, municipal bands. If you don't like, for example, if your police don't have a encrypted radios, depending on how your Baofeng was set up, you can communicate on those bands. It's not precluded. Like this thing will broadcast on NOAA frequencies, and merely just going on and clicking this transmit button right there. If I went on the ham frequency, and that's what they mean by I can go on the ham frequencies or citizen band frequencies and communicate. And I can just go on there and go la 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 la, or I can just hold the button down and jam the frequency. You're not allowed to do that. That's tampering as well. Substantially impair the ability of law enforcement officers, firefighters, rescue personnel, or emergency personnel to respond to emergency or protect and preserve any person from serious physical harm. This is generally the part of when you're making bomb threats. This is what you get done because you're impairing their ability to help people, really. No person shall use any computer system or computer network or device so as to disrupt, erupt, and impair the functions of police, fire, educational, commercial, or governmental operations. So you can't use computers to hack in and fuck with people. And it's a felony of the fourth degree, meaning they face up to 6 to 18 months of prison. Yes, so where have they done that? How have Trump and Vance done that? They haven't. They haven't done that. As the Springfield community has experienced widespread bomb threats, schools have been evacuated and closed. Hospitals have been locked down. Since Trump and Vance began the campaign of lies, public services have been investigated to divert these threats. And the community has been left in distress and disarray. Okay. Explain the theory. You're going to have to articulate that. Despite the multiple state offenses, there is no truth to their claims. Trump and Vance continue to spread lies about the abduction and consuming of family pets and their claims that legal migrants are illegal and spreading disease to cause alarm in the Springfield community. And it's about making false alarms. This is absolutely moronic. They say by repeating the claims they know to be false on their social media, they have engaged in telecommunications harassment, which this is not telecommunications harassment, really. This is not. It's not telecom harassment. So Ohioans have been harmed by Trump and Vance's hate and fear mongering. Trump and Vance may act like they're above the law, but they are not. Oh, wow, we're using the same. They're above the law. There's no official capacity, is not protected, but is protected by no immunity. They talk about the facts. You know, Springfield has a population of 60,000 residents with about 15,000 Haitians working there on top of it. In early 2024, the far-right social media platform Gab, oh yeah, it's really far right. Gab has a lot of censorship policy, surprisingly. The comment stated that once Haitians swarm into a town, animals start to disappear. This is left under a photo of the neo-Nazi group, the Blood Tribe, which is marching through Springfield protesting Haitian immigrants and waving swastika flags. You guys remember the Blood Tribe dudes? They're fucking glowies. On September 6th, End Wokeness posted a screenshot alleging Haitians were in Springfield, Ohio, eating a cat. Now, guys, remember the whole cat being eaten thing? That was given to... this was apparently in Columbus. This guy carrying the goose down the street. Doesn't still make any goddamn sense why he's carrying geese. And if you're a white guy carrying geese down the street, the game warden would ticket you. Just saying. So anyway, there's a bunch of issues here. Charlie Kirk is involved. Elon Musk says stuff. You know, yeah, Charlie Kirk's like, oh, they're, you know, mass immigration replacement plan. Well, that's not untrue. I will point out that the lady who was eating the cat was in a city on the other side of the state that was like over 2 hours away from Haiti, or from Springfield. And she wasn't a Haitian. She was a lady living in the projects in Section 8 housing who ate a cat. So don't worry about it. And he says that they're just going through all of this here. Vance says, my office received many inquiries from actual residents who said their neighbors or pets were abducted by Haitian immigrants. It's possible, you know, who knows? And the local health service has been overwhelmed. Have communicable diseases like tuberculosis and HIV been on the rise? You know, rents have risen so fast that Springfield families can't put a roof over their head. Notice, you notice how they're talking about, oh, it's about the dogs and the cats. They aren't talking about the schools being overwhelmed because the kids don't know English. They don't talk about the fact that 15,000 people thrown in the town and made renting almost impossible. Notice they aren't talking about that. Notice they're not talking about that, chat. And the complaint, it's just about the cats and the dogs. Well, there we go. I mean, that's, but yes, I love these memes anyway. The cat with a gun and Trump's going to protect the cats and the geese, chat. Donnie's going to protect them all. He's got room for all of them on Trump Force One. He's going to save them all, chat. So they go through all of this. They go through all the facts, blah, 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 blah. This is not really how you'd ever do a complaint. This is absolute fucking nonsense. Trump and Vance have violated Ohio and Springfield criminal law. Okay. So blah, 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 blah. They're accused of violating, making false alarms when they initiate or circulate a report or warning of alleged impending fire, explosion, crime, or other catastrophe, knowing the report or warning is false and likely to cause public inconvenience or alarm. Well, has it caused public inconvenience? The police looked into it. Okay. Before Trump's September 12th rally, Springfield City Hall was evacuated because there was bombed around the building. Okay, well, did Trump and his people do it? I don't understand how you think you can blame him for that. I really don't. But anyways, we get through all of this. And yeah, I love, you know, if you've gone to all this work, if including all these comments, where are all the other people? Because eventually you're going to have to provide those names of these people. All these things you've heard, all these things that happened. Well, when did they happen? Where did they happen? Who? Yeah, Trump might have called the bomb threat in himself. Just absolute fucking nonsense. It's bullshit. Absolute fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense, chat. Yes. Yerlin Yosef, the co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance. And notice, he didn't even fucking sign this in Ohio. He did this from California, which this is such bullshit. You won't even fucking hop on an airplane, fly to Ohio, waddle your ass down to the Clark County courthouse, go into municipal court, and fucking sign that affidavit and swear it out in Ohio yourself? Bullshit. Like, you're telling me you won't even fucking come here to do it. Absolute fucking garbage. So we'll see what happens, chat. We'll see what happens.